Hello and welcome to Retech. Today we're just going to revisit a little item that I built probably about 4 years ago now, and it's to do with the release of the retro games A1200 full-size console that they're bringing out, and the pre-orders are in a few days' time, which I'm actually going to do because I've got all of their consoles up to now, and so it'd be nice to have the A1200 now. This machine here that you can see in the background, with the I'm using the little retro games mouse because it actually goes with it really well, is an Amiga. Kind of. This is one I built about 4 years ago, and it's basically a remake of the Commodore Amiga. Um, Although it's in an A500 case, it will do a 1200, a 500, CDTV, and basically all of the models and modes that Commodore brought out in the Amiga line, so including the original Amiga, the A1000, and so on. So it's quite a good little system, and it's something I haven't used for a while because I don't know why. It's just sat there gathering dust. And as you can see, I did the case a little while ago. 4 years ago, restored the case, and it's still really nice condition. The only letdown was the keyboard, but the keyboard, again, I didn't retro bright at the time. And the biggest thing was, it was just to prove that whatever you do with retro brighting, the colors just come back. So you know, the old kind of yellowy color, but whereas if you coat the case and protect the case, it will stay the correct color almost forever, basically, and which it has, because all of my Ataris, all of my Amigas, all of the ones I've actually coated in this way have stayed true color, which is brilliant. So anyway, that's a bit of an aside. So this machine here, it is my version of the retro games A1200, Amiga 1200, although again it's in a 500 case. But this is running a workbench at the moment, which as you can see here. And as you can see on the screen here, it just looks like a normal Amiga workbench, but obviously with an internal hard drive, which, you know, this has an internal SD card, which contains a lot of games and utilities. For example, if I go into games, these are kind of some of the games that are on this machine here. So there's a fair few. You know, I could have put a lot more on there, but there you go. And it also has utilities as well. So if I go into the utilities and I go to sysinfo, and it gives you a rough idea of what the settings are on this machine. So at the moment, I'm just in standard A500, and I'll just do a quick speed test. And it'll give you a rough idea of how ridiculously quick this machine is compared to anything else. Basically, A4000. This is this. It's just off the scale. So, um, so yeah, it does work really well. So drives, obviously, it doesn't know about the drives on there. Memory, it gives you the start address and the end address of your memory, but obviously that's just a guess because, again, it's simulated. It's not original hardware. Boards, it tells you what board size you've got in there, all of this kind of thing, but it's obviously simulated again. And basically it does everything that a normal Amiga would do. So if I quit this out on here and go back to this screen here, and if I just want to run Agony, let's say, it'll run as it would, and everything works. Keyboard works, everything works the way it should. It's got a quite a decent keyboard under the sort of greyish, sort of yellowish kind of color on here. And as you can see, it's running HDMI, so it's quite a clear display, and it's really nice to kind of use and to play with. Plug in a joystick, do all the normal things that your Amiga would do back in the day and even now. Now, I haven't used it an awful lot, and that's mainly down to time, but I am actually looking forward to the A1200 Retro Games machine when it comes out. I'll just drop the volume a little bit on this. And the reason for that is because I think things like this, where you're recreating the machine, is a very good way of doing things, because this is modern hardware in a retro original case and keyboard. But you know, 4 years on, I didn't have any worries about plugging it in and making it work. And that's it, HDMI cable into a modern TV and everything works. And that's kind of the way it should be. And you know, I've quite liked this machine. I've also built an Atari ST on the same lines, a BBC Micro, a ZX Spectrum, a Commodore 64, actually lots of other machines as well on the same kind of lines as this one, where it's a recreated machine in an original case or original style case. So if you want to see how this machine was built, okay, I'll put the link below to the original video. And I'm kind of really looking forward to having another modern take on it. Although, to be honest, I don't need it, because this will do everything that the retro games machine will do, and probably more, to be fair. But you know, it would be nice to have an A1200, because that's one model I don't actually have, and that's one model I did have when I was a lot younger, back in the early sort of 90s as well. So it would be nice to get hold of another one, because the current batch of A1200s that are for sale on eBay and all other places are very, very expensive for what they are. And also, they're getting unreliable simply because of their age. I mean, I've got a lot of machines here which I've powered on, including the 128 up here, which is in bits at the minute, which I need to repair. That just suddenly stopped working for whatever reason, and that's got a gate error, so I need to sort that out, but I'll get round to that eventually. And also things like the original Mega ST, which I have, which I've restored again about 4 years ago now. I'm kind of loath really to use that an awful lot, because it will fail. And if I'm using it a lot and it fails, and I'm investing, you know, the MIDI side of it into it, and it fails, then I've basically kind of have to start from scratch, repair it, and so on. And then you going down the route of using modern-ish components to repair an old machine. So I'd rather try and keep them original for as long as I can. But this A500 remake of the Commodore Amiga, I'd like to compare it to the 1200 when it does come out from Retro Games. So doing the pre-order thing. I know it's 7 or 8 months before it actually gets released, so it's a long wait. But what I might do is I might actually start putting more programs and games and software, and doing more with the remakes than with some of the original hardware. But I do like the original hardware, which is why I've got so much. But at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to the A1200, as in the Retro Games Amiga 1200 or A1200 or Maxi or whatever they're going to call it officially, or what people are going to nickname it either. But at the same time, I'm going to use this a bit more. So if you're interested in how this was built, there's a link to the video below. What I might do is I might re-release that video and clean it up a little bit, because it was done a long time ago, and then put it out as a re-release on this channel as well. So yeah, this is my Amiga a 500, 600, 1200, 1000. It's basically all combined in a single remake, but in an original case. So yeah, it would be nice to see it go and see how the new one kind of stacks up to this one. So yeah, thanks for this little brief interlude into the Amiga remake. And I hope you're gonna order the 1200 as well. It's kind of, it's not a massive amount of cost for the A1200. It's about £150 roughly, or about $190 ish. And there's obviously been a fair bit of retooling for the keyboards and the case that would needed to actually build something like this, where this is an original. And the electronics are going to be very, very cheap. They're going to be, based FPGA or something similar. This one's based on a Pi. But the outcome's going to be exactly the same. The timings on this version are very good. And so I hope the timings on the retro games one are going to be very good. I would like to try and do an ST, which I've actually done an Atari ST remake, very similar lines to this, but I haven't tried it with MIDI. So I'm wondering whether the timings are going to be slightly out on the MIDI side of it, but you never know. I'm going to give it a try and I'll report back on here as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm going to do a little bit more very, very shortly, especially on the Amiga and the Atari ST. Might do a little bit on the Commodore 128 and the Messiah again, because again, the Messiah system I haven't used for a while. It seems to be a running theme that I haven't used a lot of the stuff for a while, but things get in the way, unfortunately. Work, life, courses, all of that kind of things all tends to get in the way. So yeah, so going to do this. This is going to be a little bit more in the future. I'm going to try and sort out the keyboard, because I really don't like this keyboard. It was brown when I put it on. It's still brown today. It's got slightly browner in the last few years, and it kind of really doesn't match the condition of the case. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon. See you. Bye bye.